She's telling everybody to go on world, an extraordinary integration of the world, and many people, particularly in the things that can break down security in air. I think it's also been driven by people in this room, by the tourism industry, by the travel industry.
Of course, in today's world, a free and open border policy, per se, has become a precondition for ensuring a mutually beneficial cooperation, sustainable economic growth and welfare. Open borders can deliver substantial benefits, and for example, within the European Union, people, goods, services, and capital move freely without any barriers, and barriers which obstructed exchange in the past. Ordinary EU citizens can now study, live, shop, and work in any EU countries. The reduction of barriers of trade is an essential component of open border policy, and further liberalization of global trade is key to economic growth and sustainability. And trade liberalization and integration into the world's leading markets have become Georgia's top foreign policy priority. Recently, we have taken a huge step forward by signing an association agreement with the European Union, which includes a deep and comprehensive free trade agreement. And this agreement provides for the elimination of tariff barriers, as well as non-tariff barriers in trade with the European Union, and regulates the full scope of trade and trade-related issues. Free trade with our neighbors and Central Asian countries has already delivered tangible results. At the present point in time, Georgia enjoys free trade with a marketplace of almost 1 billion consumers across the Eurasian continent. And we're working hard in order to take trade liberalization forward and achieve free trade, among others, with the EFTA countries, the United States and Canada. Of course, we're actively pursuing our border policy through liberalization of visa regimes with other countries. Currently, the citizens of 94 countries may enter Georgia without a visa for short-term visits. In 2014, we adopted a new law regulating migration flows in the context of visa liberalization negotiations with the European Union, and are now in the final phase of reforms to qualify for European Commission recommendations in favor of visa liberalization. And we're committed to completing these reforms ahead of the Riga summit in May. And I hope I have made clear Georgia's strong commitment to open door policies. But of course, these policies face challenges. And indeed, today, these challenges are growing in scale and sophistication and being mainly cross-border by nature, and no single state is able to respond them on its own. But issues such as transnational organized crime and terrorism are key concerns for citizens and business, and taking action to address them is a top priority. Geopolitical turbulences undermine our efforts to promote liberalized and open political and economic interactions between our countries. Disputes over boundaries, disagreements over values, over competition over natural resources, further drive wedges between countries and sub-regions. And as a result of brutal violations of fundamental principles of the international law, such as the United Nations Charter and OSCE Helsinki Final Act, which are very clear on inviolability of frontiers and territorial integrity of states, as well as on refraining from making each other's territory the object of military occupation. Many areas in the wider Black Sea region have turned into black holes. For example, in our case, 20% of our territory is occupied. And it became safe havens for organized crime, drug and human trafficking, illegal militarization and terrorism. Absence of any international observance further deteriorates the security situation on the ground. In such areas, the population is deprived of basic human rights, including but not limited to the right to education, healthcare, freedom of movement, property rights, and etc. It is also needless to stress that while making all efforts to facilitate people-to-people as well as business-to-business contacts. Countries must refrain from any activity which creates artificial obstacles for such interactions. And the barbed wire fences, which are installed in our territory, other dividing lines should not prevent neighbors, family members and business partners to communicate freely. Freedom to movement, as well as any other fundamental freedom, is a basic human right and has to be protected under any circumstances.